and I'm going to record this and we'll have this to share outside of the group. But I had this epiphany last week. I had an incident on my Facebook, and it was kind of like, I'm always doing inspirational quotes and all kind of things. And somebody was like, you don't know what you're talking about, Felicia. Like, you haven't gone through what I've gone through, and you haven't walked in my shoes. This stuff does not work. Whatever you're telling me, I'm sick of hearing about God. I'm sick of hearing about motivational, whatever. And I was like, I get it. I haven't walked in everybody's shoes, but I know a lot of women, and my journey is totally different from your journey. And I thought, why not do Testimonial Tuesdays and come live, here in the group, and bring one of these incredible women on to kind of talk about and share their story, to hopefully inspire and to encourage just one woman. Our goal today is to reach one, right? We're going to reach
absolutely
one woman. And so here we are with Viviani. We won't be on here very long, but introduce yourself. I can't speak. Introduce yourself. You have that thing, when I look at that smile, I'm like, ugh.
Whatever.
I'm like,
well, thank you so much, Felicia, one, for giving us the opportunity, having this platform for women to be empowered and encouraging them. But those who know me, that I'm passionate about serving women through beauty and fitness. And from there, that expanded into my nonprofit organization, which is VMP Foundation. Our goal with that foundation is to pretty much help women overcome trauma through healing workshops and empowerment engagement. So this is a beautiful opportunity for me to, one, hopefully, like you said, even if it's just one woman that we inspire today, that's going to be our goal. Hopefully my story and my background and the things that I've experienced impact someone in a mindful way. And that's the goal, and the whole mission behind the VMP Foundation is for me to continue to talk about what I've experienced in life and reach back. There's a community of women that have experienced different walks in life. Like you mentioned, we don't walk the same shoes, and I don't desire to walk in anyone's shoe, because mine is plenty.
Yeah.
But the goal is for us to adjust each other's crown and support each other during these trials, during these traumas and life experiences, and be able to cling together and make a difference in the community. And again, inspire another woman, encourage her through that walk, and just go from there. But again, that's just me in a nutshell.
Amen. Amen. Welcome, ladies. We got some ladies in the group. I'm so glad
to
see all of you all here. And if y'all have any questions, or this is all about motivation and encouraging, and I want Viviani, hey Kelly, hey Nikki, Shiloh's in his house, Blanca, Avis. But tell us a little bit, where do you want to start? How do you want to share some of your story? Let's get some background. So we're going to get a little background so you kind of know, like, where the shoes she walks in.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the glory and, like overcoming and all of that stuff. So share a little bit of your story.
I know one that's kind of impactful, and one that's kind of moving and had pretty much put me in the front. I've always been in the back of my business. I like to be the creator, the brainchild, and never like a lot of people, for example, like my business coach or people that mentor me, they're like, Viv, you're the brain, you need to be out front, you need to be telling your story. And I would always hide in that, just because I didn't feel as if my story was enough. And does that make sense? Sometimes you go through things and don't necessarily think that they will impact or influence. And I wasn't looking to do that, because I was trying to process my own story internally. Yeah. So to expose that to the world was just not okay to me. Yeah. I wasn't comfortable. I was still going through the traumas of my own life, still feeling inadequate, unworthy, not knowing where I stood. I was confused. I was, in a sense, all over the place. So it's just like, how could I help someone when I'm feeling all these things? But it's crazy enough, when I decided to take action, when I decided to accept myself for where I am and became aware of who I was, that's when the real healing and discovery, self-discovery took place. And I'm just going to go straight into it. When I was in the military, unfortunately, I was sexually assaulted, right? Mm-hmm. I'll go deeper, because when you go through that self-discovery phase, you start pulling back layers. And what we do as women, we tend to build really well. And we're really good at putting on a mask, right?
Yep.
We can go through things no one will ever know. And girlfriend, I was the queen. I had a PhD in wearing a good mask, okay? I was a doctor.
Yeah.
I was a doctor at it. I was good, and it didn't help that the military trained us to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, right? So when you're in pain, soldier, you are not in pain, right? And, you know, are you all right, soldier? Who a sergeant? You know, even though you could be hurting. And so that kind of like trained my mindset, even if I was experiencing trauma, even if I was going through something, never show it.
Yeah.
And that alone would eat you up inside over time.
Imagine.
Or it'll spill in other aspects of your life without you even recognizing it. Yeah. Right? So dealing with trauma growing up as a child, I didn't know how that rolled into my sexual assault in the military.
Yeah.
And outside of that, how that rolled into my personal life, whether that was interactions in public. Because when I was assaulted, it was almost like in a gathering, you know, and it, you know, to think that people was there that, you know, but wasn't able to help you, that intimidated me going out in public, concerts, being around big crowds. You know, I became extremely introverted just because I was trying to protect myself, right? And then it spills over in different aspects in communication, even with your significant other or in your marriage, dynamics of being protective and guarded, everything has an effect. But what helped me, to be quite honest, was one, self-acceptance and self-awareness.
Well, how do you do that though? I mean, it's easy for you to say, but what's your state of mind? Like, how do you come out of that? How do you bring yourself out of it?
To be quite honest, Felicia, what got me was when, I'll tell you guys, and it was a very dark, and I'm honest and transparent about this. It was a very dark space in my life, to the point that I was harboring so much emotion, going through so much things, keeping them inside so much that I actually became suicidal.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got to the point that I was becoming comfortable with the thought. If I wasn't here, it'll be over. Or if I wasn't around, you know, I wouldn't have this issue. This person would be better off. And at that time, I was just probably, you know, I know for me, it was like my significant other, you know, my ex-husband, or, you know, like me just being, I just wanted it to end, because that was internal trauma that I was just processing, and I never dealt with it. Right.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that day in October of 2008.
Oh, wow.
You know, 2008, 2009. And I was just like, I was ready to do it. And I'll never look at the ramp going into Mopac from north, heading south, ever the same, because that was an epiphany to me in regards to making a choice. Yeah. Right. And honestly, and people that know my story knows that if it wasn't for my daughter, at the time she was less than 18 months old.
And she was in the back seat. I remember
she was in the back seat.
I remember you.
She was sleeping. Yeah, she was sleeping. And for some odd reason, she woke up, had a little wail, and I was in a trance, because at that point I was ready. I was ready to accelerate and go off the ramp. And her little voice literally shocked me, and I swerved. And I was just like, I panicked. I was shaking, to be quite honest. I remember it very vividly. I was shaking. I was on the median, and I was just like, I need help.
Yeah.
You'll know when it's time to get out. You'll know when it's time to leave the situation, whether that's a relationship, a conflict, whatever the case is. You'll know when, I'm talking about your internal monitor awareness will literally spike.
Yeah.
And
but it seems like, but when you're in it, you know, you were in it for a long time, but like, how is it that, you know, you want to get out and people keep saying, I'm trying, it's just not working out. Like, I want to cry because I know so many friends. It's like, I can't do it. Everything I do is not working and I just want to give up. Like, what do you say to that person?
You know what? It's good to be an encourager. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes when that person, and I will speak from example,
Mm-hmm.
when that person is in it, right?
Yeah.
You could be saying 1,000 things to them, but it won't process until they know that they know that they know. You can preach happiness, you can preach whatever the case is. Something has to happen within them for them to be aware and for them to accept that, whether, like you said, they're in it, they've tried, they put in the work. And I always say, you know, in every situation in my life, in terms of my trauma, to be quite honest, I had to put in the work.
Yeah. So what kind of work were you putting in when you say I had to put in the work? Because you were in the midst of it before this, you know, this epiphany and this revelation that, you know, I can't commit suicide. I got to live, you know, for my family. There's something bigger. But what kind of work were you trying? What do you recommend people? What kind of work do you recommend them put in?
So the tools I would definitely say is, you know, for me, again, I'm just going to kind of piggyback self-awareness, right? Self-acceptance, accept where you are. You acknowledge that, you own it, right?
Yeah.
Now the self-care aspect come in. That's when I went into my toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
I realized something was wrong and that I needed to take care of myself. That looks different for everyone.
Yeah.
Completely. For me, I knew that I needed to go see a therapist. I needed to seek help. I needed to see a psychologist. Something is happening up here. My mind is more powerful to the point that actually I was comfortable with literally going off that ramp.
Wow.
That's internal. That's people don't realize, and I stress this, and I really I'm covenant and passionate about my internal peace, because the mind is a powerful thing.
Yes. Yeah.
It's very powerful. So I stress mental health, and I'm a huge advocate for that, because sometimes society has built us to think of mental health or having a diagnosis of depression or whatever the case is as something bad. No, it actually takes strength.
Yeah.
And it actually is it is a strength to acknowledge that something is wrong and that you're taking care of it. Where you become weak is when it evolves into something, i.e. like suicide. And if I were to execute, yes, depression would have won. Yes, PTSD would have won. And my family and everyone else around me would have suffered, because the lack thereof of communication, the lack thereof of awareness, and the lack thereof of actually seeking the help that I actually needed. You know, so I made a choice. For me, that resulted in, yes, my toolbox, my kit involved a therapist. My kit for me, what has always helped me was physical fitness.
Yeah.
I cannot deal without exercising. It, you know, it releases endorphins for me. It actually is another form of therapy for me.
And your garden is your recent therapy. It's great.
Absolutely. Right now, it is truly my recent therapy. And I do have my therapist on speed dial. I am not afraid to say that. I meet with her on Zoom. Yeah. I meet with her, you know, like I can shoot her a text. You need to check my temperature, something, you know, we gotta check in, you know, but that's the bond that I've created with my therapist. And I can't say that it's easy like that, because my journey was not easy in terms of finding a good therapist and finding someone that was truly there, that actually saw me.
Yeah.
Because I went through at least 8 therapists with the VA before I found Dr. Wellington, who's my current doctor and therapist right now. But it was hard, because again, you have to relive every time you see a doctor. Yeah. You're reliving all of those experiences and traumas. You get tired, you get weary. And that's how a lot of women, whether you're in something that's traumatic or you're just exhausted in life, we get tired of kind of like, i.e. when women don't talk to each other, right? Yeah. They get tired of telling a friend the same story, because they don't think like they want to hear it, right? Yeah. Or they don't think like, oh, she's going to say that's the same thing that she was talking about last week. It's okay. Talk about it. You need to. Because if you let it harbor and if you let it sit, I'm talking about mental health is, to me, I call it a cancer to a certain degree. You want to know why? Because the mind is so powerful that it can make you sick.
True. No, that's true. I did that podcast on the power of the tongue, and I did a post about you manifesting, what you say can speak life or death,
Yeah.
can create life and death.
Absolutely. And making a choice to be positive, right? Because here's the deal, we can dwell in it, we can sit in it, but how is that going to help us get out of it?
Yeah.
Right? So when I made a choice after experiencing all of those therapists, and I realized, man, I'm not getting the help that I need, because what they wanted to automatically do was prescribe me medication. That's a Band-Aid. That's not dealing with the real issue.
Yeah.
And I was exhausted. And I will never forget the day that I sat in Dr. Wellington's office, and I was done. Your girl was skinny. Your girl was weak. I was weak. I was just tired. I know I did not look like myself. I wasn't who I knew I was and who I can evolve to become, right? And it was just one of those things that when I sat down there, she looked at me. I didn't have to talk, Felicia. I didn't have to say anything. She just looked at me, and she knew. And she looked at me straight in the eye and said, I will not let you give up on yourself.
Thank God. And that's hard to find.
It's rare.
You got to go through some things. So your tips were, fill up your self-love tank. What's some other tips we can do in that process? Because right now, COVID, maybe a lot of us was on the edge before and we thought we was doing okay, but then this pandemic just like dropped the bomb on us, right? And some of us just can't deal with it. A lot of people ain't dealing. They ain't got the money coming in. They don't have the job. They don't have the support. They may be in a house with an abusive partner. Who knows what somebody else is going through?
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do? What do you do?
So, you know what? I just want to piggyback from what you just said. Fill up your love tank. I don't necessarily believe you can truly and honestly fill up your love tank for self if you don't take care of the issues that need to be taken care of. It's impossible.
Say that again.
I don't believe that you can fill up your love tank if you don't address the issues that are stopping you from actually loving yourself as you are wholeheartedly. So I can't stress enough to people that it's almost like an order that I do have for this self epidemic, right? Everyone's like self-love, self-care stuff. I'm like, let's back up.
Yeah.
Let's back up. Let's go to the basics, right?
Yeah.
Self-awareness, self-acknowledgement, right?
Okay.
Then there's self-care. Once you start taking care of yourself, you acknowledge the issues, you acknowledge the problems, you acknowledge yourself as you are, stripped down, unfiltered. Who are you authentically? What do you need to do to become the best version of yourself? Then you go into that placement of self-care. Whether that is, hey, I do have an issue. Hey, I am having some problem. This is where you create your team in self-care. Just like we have teams for business and growth, you need to have a team for your self-care. When I'm down, you better believe Felicia, Casita, my best friend is on the dial line. I have, my backup, my sound mind, Kanisha. She just be like, all right, let's lay it down. She's analytical and I love everything about that. I can't come in. There's no bias in that, so it's just like, you got to have your team that's going to support you, whether you're up or you're down. Yeah. They're going to celebrate you when you're,
choosing the people that you're around, because you don't want to be choosing people that's just going to bring you down and be like, all negative and everything. You need someone that's going to take you higher, that's going to pray with you, that's going to bring you, they're not going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to be like, okay, I got you. Sometimes I call Viviani and I'm like, Viviani, she goes, let's pray. She just goes straight into prayer over the phone. That's all. She just knows. And so you have to be wise on who you choose to be around.
Yeah. My meditation this morning actually spoke on that, having the expectancy, right? And having expectancy leaves you with faith and hope, but you have to be careful who you surround yourself with when you're in that season, right? You don't want to be hanging around somebody that's everyone has experiences, and I'm going to be raw and authentic. You don't want to be around someone that's the Debbie Downers. You don't want to be around that when you're actually trying to you're going through some stuff and you're trying to push through. You're having hope. You're having faith. But it's okay. Sometimes, you got to actually pull those people just from your faith, just from your hope. Those people will get encouraged, and it can kind of, even out that energy. But you don't necessarily want to have people on your team that's going to not see you as yourself. You want to surround yourself with authentic people that's there for your best interests, right? So that's a part of the self-care aspect. Then once you start taking care of yourself, you start seeing your self-worth, you know that you are worthy, you are enough as you are. I always like to say I'm perfectly imperfect, and I'm okay with that because I'm a work in progress. God is continuously working on me. And so that even while he's working on me, he's giving me the grace to help other women. And that in and of itself is powerful to me. But going back to what you said, that's kind of when you go into that self-love, right? When you're in that bliss, which is what everyone wants, you can help other people authentically. You know, it doesn't affect you to reach back. You know, like even when you're going through something, you can serve someone else, right? So that's when you're at a space of truly loving yourself and loving others with a full capacity. But during this time, it's uncertainty. Like you said, there's a lot of uncertainty, and I can't tell you enough how I check in on friends. It's imperative. Check on your strong ones during this time, because some of those are the ones that's probably actually going through it. I recommended so many women who I've been chatting with over time, and I have a family group chat as well. You know, some of them are going through highs and low times.
I go through it. I'm all like ADD and hyped up, and the next week I'm like, I'm so depressed. Like, what?
And give yourself permission. That's the biggest thing I tell women is give yourself permission to feel all these feelings. Because I used to, and I'm not afraid to cry. I used to be all hard. Be like, I'm not gonna cry. Hoo, military, you know. But now, girl, you can catch me crying with you. I don't let my friends cry alone.
I know you do.
I don't let my friends cry alone. But at the same time, give yourself permission and grace to feel those things. And I'll never forget what Dr. Wellington told me. She's like, crying is not a sign of weakness. Because people cry when they're happy. People cry when they laugh so hard. People cry when they experience joy. People cry when they experience pain. But here's the beauty behind it. It lets you know that you are alive and that you can feel. And that's a beautiful thing when you can actually feel. Because guess what? It makes you think differently. It allows you to adjust your perspectives and view things in a more pure light. Like, oh, I don't want to feel like that ever again. Or, oh, that felt so good that I don't mind experience or being around that energy that made me laugh or cry so much. I mean, we always have those moments. We experience all moments.
All emotions. Oh, it's like this.
You know? But it's beautiful because we're authentic and raw with one another. That it's okay, like if I gotta hold her while she cries, or I lean on her shoulder, or we're laughing so hard, literally, that I am crying, or that I am holding myself to compose. But I think during these times that, you know, surround yourself with people that loves you, support you, but also check on one another. Do not be afraid to call your medical health doctor or, you know, whoever to get a consult with a therapist over the phone. They are more than willing to do Zoom calls because of course a lot of them are not meeting in person.
Everything's telemedicine.
Yes, absolutely. And the biggest thing that I've gotten from this time and I take away from it is I used to always complain that I didn't have enough time for meditation. Now, I don't know everyone's spiritual walk, but I'm a believer of Christ. But I also do love the time to just meditate, and I'm big on yoga. I'm big on my quiet time. And this have allowed me to really protect my peace. Because I'm not going to lie, in the beginning, this was very difficult. I'm a small business owner. I'm a single mother. And to know, one, I didn't have income coming in just because in a service industry, if you don't work, you don't get paid.
I'm right there.
And then I am at home trying to do paperwork so that I can get stuff from the SBA. But I'm also being a mom, a teacher, and my kids like to eat. And I don't mind cooking, but I do need time to, you know, be able to work, and finding that balance. I kid you not, just threw me off because that's not how I envisioned my 2020. I had 2020 vision. But it's funny because my daughter would joke and be like, did you have this forecast in your 2020 vision?
No, that was not.
And I was just like, absolutely not. No one in our nation was ready for this. So it's just one of those things that I really hope that we take the time to protect our peace and find it if it's lost, right?
And how do you recommend, what do you mean by protecting your peace? I get it, but maybe some people don't understand. Like, like allowing what's being filtered in through your brain, what you're listening to, what you're seeing.
Yes, what you're taking in, what you're receiving. I am so big on energy. And I think, Felicia, you kind of have that as well. It's like what you put out to the universe, it's going to come back to you like a boomerang. You speak life, you speak abundance, you speak, and even in times, sometimes, yes, it can be hard. You don't want to hear the positivity, but speak life into your own life. Again, for me, meditation. I can't start my day generally without doing my meditation, giving my time to myself. And I know my kids, they will open that door right when they see me on that floor in my namaste position and they see that my meditation music is on, they quietly shut the door.
Close the door.
Yes, and they walk away because that's my time. And because I'm able to serve them better when I have my quiet time. When I become one with self and I start my day off good, because I know the minute I walk out of that room, I am going to exert positivity.
Yes.
I want to be happy.
That is the goal, because you made up your mind.
Absolutely.
You started your morning off that way and you made up your mind. That's how, because we have to realize we can't control what's going on, but we do have control of ourselves and our feelings and our emotions and our peace. We have control of what we allow. We have control of somebody gonna pop off at you at home or gonna do whatever. You don't know. You can control your peace. You can choose. Am I gonna let them steal my joy? Am I not gonna let them steal my joy? You know what I mean? If people keep going around, well, they do this to me and they're doing this, and it's always they don't have a victim mentality. You know what I mean? It's just kind of.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that because at the end of the day, you'll be in that same cycle.
Yeah.
There's no growth. There's no evolution once you start going and getting comfortable in that victim mentality. If you truly, again, want to grow, want to not experience the same situation, you have to first acknowledge it. And that's the biggest issue. Acknowledging when something is wrong or when you're experiencing something, and then following that is, how do I change it? Yeah. So again, I really hope that during this time, what a wonderful platform Felicia has provided us, right? So if you need motivation, if you need encouragement, find a group. We're in this wonderful group, embracing our beauty, letting us know that we are enough. So find outlets, connect with women, like-minded women, and that's powerful right there in and of itself. Connect with like-minded people that will support you, people that will encourage you and speak life into you. I think within the last year and a half, networking and finding my tribe has been the best thing that has helped me, one, through my divorce. Two, through my mental state of mind, because as an advocate, someone who actually talks to women about empowering and overcoming trauma and planting seeds in their lives and encouraging them, sometimes that energy of whatever all the women have been experiences come at me. I have to be encouraged. I have to be built enough. I have to have my tribe around me, linking arms with me, so that I am strong enough to not only receive it, but impact them, encourage them, but don't let that spirit and that energy hit me so that I'm so affected to the point that I'm like, I don't know, it's something powerful when energy hits and you're taking on someone else's energy. And I know when different events that I've done, different conferences that I've done, I can feel it in the crowd. Sometimes I can be strong about my testimony.
What is it? Like I was asking, I was telling you, you was like, what are we going to talk about? And I'm like, I want to know. And I think inquiring minds want to know, like, what in the hell is it about you? What is it that makes you, I want to cry, y'all. I don't think, if you don't know Viviani, you need to know her. She is a powerful energy and source, and she loves God, but there is just something about you. There's just something that is very powerful, very strong. I thought, I am 10 years older than her. I was like, girl, how are you, 50-something years old? You know how Black people are. They're like,
Black don't care.
I think you have so much wisdom. You've been through so much, divorce, trauma, you know, suicide, depression, like everything. But your joy, what is the source of your joy? Tell me. Tell us.
You know, it probably gonna sound cliche, right? Because I'm gonna be like, I know for me, I would not be where I am and who I am if it wasn't for God's grace, to be quite honest. And I'm just gonna be, I give it to him. You know, I lay it out and cast all my cares onto him. But besides that, you have to figure out what's your why, right? You have to figure out what's your why.
Purpose. Your thing you talk about, your topic is broken into purpose.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And through all my experience in life, through all my traumas, and for me, to be quite honest, like you said, you know, you got to know me to know what I've been through. And my series or my cycle of trauma started at a very young age. And to know that my anchor has always been God. But at the same time, I realized that there's a greater purpose for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't think that I've ever talked about this, but before I was 16 years old, I think I was 15. Yeah, I was 15, turning 16. I got hit by a car.
No, I mean, how come you never told? I don't think.
Look, how come you
I know there's people that've been hit by a car, but I don't think it was you.
Yeah. So I got hit by a car, and I remember, oh my gosh, I was just so in the church. I was good. I mean, I was big, what is it? The mentor, big sister.
Yeah.
Listen, I was a walking advocate for God, just pumped up. I got hit by a car and I could have died. So it was raining. And what we do every morning, me and my mother, she'll go to the train station and I will walk across the street. And we'll always pray and we'll part ways. And I kid you not, I remember saying bye to her and I'm crossing the street. It's my time to go. The walk signal is on. And all I remember was flipping in the air, landing down. And I kind of sat up a little bit. And I was like, all I can think about was I just got done praying.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
That's all I can think, because what happens is during that time, the adrenaline is still pumping in my body. Okay. So I thought that I was okay, right? So I kind of sat up. And then everyone, all the kids at the bus stop were looking at me like I'm crazy. They're like, you just flipped in the air. You just got hit by a car. So the car ran a red light and was turning. So if it wasn't turning, the doctor said I would have probably died. So mind you, my brother, and I'm going to give you a little backstory about this. My brother was in town because it was going to be my birthday. And he promised if I got straight A's, he would teach me how to drive. I got a car before my birthday, right? So I'm here excited and everything. So the kids are like panicking. They run to the house and they tell my brother, your sister's been hit by a car. He just got in that morning, 6 o'clock. He's like, you know. Yeah, he's like, BS. That's not true. She just left the house. Yeah. They're like, no, she got hit by a car. And I remember thinking to myself, as I'm in the hospital, I was in so much pain because what happens is the adrenaline start pumping, and over time, you actually feel the pain. So I'm you know, my arms up in the air, my legs, I'm all jacked up. Teeth bust, everything, face messed up, everything. And I tell God, why didn't you just take me? Why didn't you just take me? I mean, I'm literally on high. I knew that if I were to die that day, I would have been in heaven. Yeah. Because I was good. I was in every ministry you can think of for youth. I was in it. I was doing my part. And I felt like, why should I endure this pain? Yeah. Why didn't you just take me? Yeah. As life goes on, you know, I'm like, okay, maybe there's a greater purpose for me. I literally broke my leg, broke my arm. You just smile, it's pretty, but I chipped my tooth. Just my one front tooth. You know, I'm literally blind in my right eye from because I got a concussion. And, you know, it injured me. But throughout the whole process, something told me is just like, that's part of your testimony. Whatever it is, he kept you alive for some reason. Yeah. That's a part of your testimony.
Yeah.
As life goes on, I experience more trauma.
Yeah.
I think the one that like put me out where I was just like, seriously, God, was when I got assaulted in the military.
Oh.
I was just like, what in the world? Like, come on. And then, of course, suicidal thoughts. Because at this point, I'm like, I'm going through so much pain. Like, I'm okay to be done with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But once I realized that my experiences, and sometimes I do get emotional about it because it is, you sit back and you reflect, right?
Yeah.
Like all the things that you've been through, but by the grace of God, you're still here.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that I've kind of had to embrace and just realize that whatever it is, and it used to be hard for me to accept and say, is just like, use me however you want, let your will be done. That's powerful.
That's a bold prayer.
That is.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready. Sometimes, and that's why they say the tongue is a powerful thing. Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those, I want to say one of those things that I realized probably about 2 years ago when I worked with my business coach. And every meeting that I was going to, I was doing a lot of pitch, pretty much like Shark Tank for the cosmetic line. And every time I would go, they would love it. But then they're like, tell us about you.
Yeah.
And when I start telling them about me, they forget about the cosmetic line. They're like, oh, you are the product. And I'm just like, this is so weird. But I had to sit back and realize that that's kind of what God was telling me this whole time. He was getting me out of my comfort zone, which was being behind the scene, which was being the extrovert and the introvert, right? Because again, I was intimidated of crowds. I was shy to speak. But he was like, let me let you kind of dabble into this cosmetic line because it's building up your confidence.
Yeah.
It's getting you where I need you to
go. That's your confidence journey. I would have never known you were shy.
Exactly.
It's just, it is.
And so from there, it was just like, he's like, I'm glad you thought it was about the cosmetic line.
Yeah.
But this was a stepping stone for you to actually tell your story. It's time to go to work.
Yeah.
And ever since then, doors of opportunities have opened. I've been able to talk and empower women. I've kind of grown out of that shell like, oh, yeah, maybe my story might influence someone. Maybe it might inspire hope. Again, every time I walk into something, it's not about impacting the whole room. I just need one person.
Just one.
Reach back and just reach back and influence, or not so much influence, it's empower. Or inspire one person, because you don't know what they're going through. Exactly. And I kid you not, every time I get off of a platform, I have tons of women who come up to me, and I just thank God because I'm able to, I don't know, be authentic.
Yes.
And
we're all be real.
Yeah, just be real, because I think there's too much of the layering going on.
Yeah, fluffing it up, and I just want to know, it's just kind of like, for real, just tell me for real. Just tell me I'm going to suffer for a little while, and suffering is a part of it, but I know that
it's a part of growth.
It's just a part of growth. And we're here with Viviani. If y'all have any questions about divorce, depression, mental, I don't care what it is, she's right here.
Whatever, I'm here. I'm transparent.
Right here. Ask some questions in the comments. I'm just looking through the comments. If y'all have any questions, SWAT, are you still on? She's like incredible, a photographer. We got Jennifer Bailey on here, and Nikki on, your sister. Well, she was watching. Miss Dr. Tiffany is here. And if y'all have any questions, go ahead and ask. But yeah, and that's kind of why I hadn't, this platform has been here probably for a while. I just didn't know what to do with it. I mean, I had a lot of women, but I get busy, and I was like, I don't know what to do with it. And because of this pandemic, I needed support. And I was like, well, there's got to be some other women to need, so let me show people what support looks like so they can be there for me, because some days it just ain't good. It's just not good all the time.
Check on your friends.
And so I was like, well, Lord, I'll just use this platform however. And especially, I'm glad that incident kind of happened last week. And I was like, yeah, I haven't walked in everybody's shoes. I don't know, but there are incredible women out there just like you, and there's other women. And I don't know everybody's story, FYI. I know a few people's stories. So if y'all feel like you want to share your story and you want to come on here and inspire someone, just message me or leave a comment or message me. Let's do a coffee date or something. And then you can come on and share your story. But any closing tips or about, how do we kind of start now? Yesterday was a bad day. Maybe today was a bad day, but we're not going to go to sleep like this. Before, like if you're having a bad day, we had a bad day today or yesterday, how can we just start something right now?
I want to comment to something that you just said in regards to, I don't know everyone's story, but Felicia, I want you to know that you are a ray of sunshine to many women. Women, we can just watch your posts and, laugh or smile. Yeah. I don't ever want you to lose that because of a negative comment or someone, like, pretty much you could probably easily felt attacked when that person said, you don't know my story. I'm tired of the positivity this and positivity that. Don't stop being positive just because someone else is not. Because that actually, your energy helps inspire other women and encourage us and makes us laugh. And laughter is the best medicine during these times of uncertainty. So don't ever lose that. And again, and just to piggyback to the women on this live, just stay empowered. That's easier said than done for sure, but make a choice, right? Everything is about a choice. So make a choice to be positive. Again, positive attracts positive. If you, the book that we both love, it's Power, right? Affirmation.
There's a lot of that start with a P, but I think the power.
Yes, I will put it down in the link so that everyone can, have that on Audible and have it on repeat. I know I have. Every time I need a jolt of energy, of positivity, I play it. But I definitely say surround yourself with positivity. Be open-minded. Give yourself permission to feel. And it's okay if you don't feel like doing work today, don't do it. Give yourself a break. You deserve that. If the kids are going crazy and you don't feel like doing school assignment, call it a teacher planning day. Let it go. It is okay. Listen.
I recorded our call. I was like, Viviani, are you ready? There was kids in the background, dogs barking. I was like, they better be quiet.
Everything. Everything.
Be quiet.
My life is always interesting. There's never a dull moment, and I'm okay with that. But you also need to be able to give yourself permission to step away from it. See, this door is shut. I'm giving myself permission to be present. And sometimes that's all we need to do. Give ourselves 5 minutes. Go outside, smell the fresh air, sit in your back porch, it's just allowing yourself to be you and be authentic with yourself. Know what you need. Fill up that love tank. Fill up that love tank and figure it out. But also, do not be afraid to tell other people what your love languages are. And that's where we as women, we lacking. They are not mind readers. No one is our mind readers. Tell them what you need, and I think we do a great job in communicating that with each other. How can I serve you today? What you need, especially if we're low. What can I do to help you get out of that?
Sorry,
if you don't ask, you won't know.
What can I do for you today? And as women, we don't like to receive. That's a whole nother topic. We don't like. We have a bad time receiving, even though we want it, but we have a bad time receiving. It's like, oh, no, I got it. I'm okay. You don't have to do that.
No, I need help.
All right. It's like, what you want to bring food? If you want to bring it, you want to pick up my kids? Come pick up my kids. I've learned to say, yes, thank you, I received.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that takes training. That's a whole nother topic. I'll bring somebody on and talk about that too. But again, I'm just bringing on women every week to tell their story. Viviani is my first guinea pig. Did we do a good job today, ladies?
Hopefully.
Give us a little heart or something. If you have an incredible story, let's connect. I don't know everybody's story, but I want to use this platform and come on Testimonial Tuesdays. And I want to bring on a woman that may have walked in your shoes, but she has gone through something, and she is a powerful beauty, just like my podcast and just like this. And you're doing great things in the community, despite what you've gone through, despite all the things and obstacles that have come in your way. You are using your pain as your testimony. You are empowering other women. You've only come into my life in September, and it was a God thing. And we have been stuck together like glue, and God just knows what you need. And he will drop those women in your life just like a bomb. He's like, this is what you need. And it's okay, ladies. Let me tell you one thing. It's okay for people to come and go in your life because people are there for a season, you know?
Absolutely.
And it's okay because if he takes someone away, he's going to bring somebody back.
Absolutely.
Put somebody back to give you exactly what you need. So I know sometimes some of us are hurt as women and we guard ourselves because we don't want to have relationships again because we had that one good friend and so-and-so did whatever, but open yourselves up and just pray for that positive person to be in your life and accountability. And we're here in this group. This is what this is for. This is what I desire and I envision God to use this group for, is for women to connect. Right?
Right. And the thing to piggyback on what you just said, Felicia, is one, forgive. Because if you don't forgive, like you said, that friend or whoever, whatever the case, whatever that situation was, you kind of pretty much hold yourself back from blessings. And you don't want that. So just be able to forgive and release and embrace and accept what's coming forth to you, because God is going to promise that it's going to come back 10 times fold. You'll be surprised how when one door closes, multiple doors open. So be okay with that and just receive it like with open arms, like you said, with positivity and embrace it.
Yeah, so much. So yeah, y'all connect with Viviani. If y'all got women's groups or conferences, whenever we can get back together, a virtual, Viviani is an incredible, powerful speaker. Like, she is the bomb.com and she's out there doing her thing, helping women. But let me see, do we have any questions? Hey, Kelly. If y'all have any questions for Viviani, she's here. You can ask her about anything. And if we don't do it right here on live, it's okay. Y'all can reach out to her privately. She loves talking to everybody. That's what she does. That's what she does. I know it because I call her every 5 minutes. And when she don't answer the phone, I text her. And if she don't text, then I'll send her a message on Instagram. And if she
I respond right away.
Because that's
what don't find me.
All righty then. Well, that is it. I'm so glad you joined us today. And thank you so much for participating in our Testimonial Tuesday. All right.
Have a wonderful evening.
See y'all later. Hold on.